Welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you are watching us on our YouTube channel that is called Tar Heel Illustrated, I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones. And joining me is our director of basketball recruiting and analyst, longtime college AAU and high school coach, Mr. David Sisk. And David, we are beginning our UNC basketball podcast preview series tonight. We're going to take a look at the most experienced Tar Heel, the one that's been in the program longer than anybody else and who very well may end up playing more minutes than any UNC basketball player ever has. That is 6'9" graduate. I think he's a graduate now. Leaky Black. He used the COVID year, opted to come back. Carolina will have two fifth-year COVID guys in the starting lineup, a very old starting lineup for the Tar Heels this year. And every time they won titles in the past, they've been an old team. So maybe that bodes well moving ahead. So David, Leaky Black, he's played 3,116 minutes as a Tar Heel. He played about 1,200 minutes last year. So I think it looks like the odds are pretty good. By the time Leaky's career ends, he'll be in the 4,000-minute mark. And he hopes that he leaves a legacy of great defender and hanging banners when he walks away.
Yeah, and just to touch on one thing you said, and we've talked about this before on here, but I had a very good friend in the college coaching ranks who told me one time, he said, look, the secret of this, you want to find a way for your team to get old. And this was before the transfer portal. And this is when it was before the portal opened up the way it has. So, and now you've got a way to do it. And then that was before the COVID year. He probably told me this about 2017, 2018. So now with everything that's happened, you can do it. So, it's been very good for North Carolina and Leaky Black. It's kind of the poster athlete for that, student athlete. We just did a mailbag where we had a lot of questions about recruiting and about the team. Probably had as many or more questions about Leaky Black than they had about any other player. And, the question was about, do some of the players, in particular Puff Johnson, could he get into Leaky Black's playing time? Could Leaky Black end up losing his starting job? If you're in a late game situation and you need offense, do you take Leaky Black out of the game and put a shooter in? And my question on all that is number one, Leaky Black is not losing any playing time, and he's not losing a starting job. He is a guy, he has built equity inside this program and with Hubert Davis. And the thing that I like about him, that a lot of times when things are going bad, you don't get to see it. But in the NCAA tournament last year, and I look at wins, I look at the Baylor game, I look at a little bit of Marquette, but really Baylor in the second half, UCLA, Duke, even the Kansas game, I saw Leaky Black make winning plays. And, the defense is obvious. He's the lockdown defender. You put him on the other guy's number one option, and Leaky's going to give him a fit. If he does score points, he's really going to have to work for him. A lot of times he's not going to score. You can take that option away. But away from that, he's active. He rebounds. He keeps balls alive. I go back to how many crucial plays that he had just where his hustle, just tipping, keeping a loose ball alive, an assist he made, a cut. He's really good.
Yeah.
People don't realize how good he is off the ball, just making the right reads, really good cuts. If his guys overplay, he's a good back cut. If they chase over, he understands the curl. He understands how to slip, screens, all that stuff. So he can read out there. He's a very intelligent player. So, it's not a surprise to anybody that he's already got a degree and graduated. So you look at North Carolina this year, you think winning team, preseason number one, and the epitome of the winning team is obviously you got to have winning players. And the winning player at North Carolina, to me, the winning player that just makes those type of plays in crucial situations is Leaky Black.
Yeah, I think Leaky averaged 2.7 assists last year. But if they scored it like they do in hockey, where two guys can get an assist on a goal. It's the guy whose pass leads to the pass that leads to the shot and goal. Leaky would have a lot more than that, because a lot what you're talking about, David, is the way he sees things, and he gets the ball moving. He doesn't make the ball stagnant. And a lot of stuff opens up because of his passes, because of how he gets rid of the ball, who he gets it to, and defenses move as a result. So he would have a lot more assists if they did it that way in basketball. And to your point about winning plays, I was courtside. I was right there, front row on the court, right next to the court, when they melted down against Baylor in the second round. And that was a colossal meltdown. But they regrouped, and RJ Davis was a big reason they regrouped, and Leaky was a big reason they regrouped. Hubert gave them an interesting speech when they were going into overtime, but I remember they came out there before the overtime period, and Leaky just went over to each one of them, gave them a little pat. And it didn't really, I don't know if he said anything. It didn't look like he really said anything, but it was one of those assurance moments. Justin McCoy, we're okay with you. Dontrez Styles, we're good with you, that kind of thing. And it worked out. They won that game, and they survived and advanced, and they ended up winning a national championship. The UCLA game is another one. What he did defensively in that game gave the guys a ton of confidence, because they weren't scoring at a high clip, other than Caleb going off in the second half. But it's almost like they knew, okay, we're not going to have to score 85 tonight, because we can't score 85 tonight. But if we can get to 70, because Leaky's locking down their go-to guy, that we have a chance to win this game. So he gives his teammates a lot more confidence than the people who just read box scores and are sort of couch viewers understand. If you talk to the kids in that room, every one of them will tell you that about him. They'll gush about Leaky's value to the team, and that's before they ever get to any statistics. And because statistics do matter to Leaky, and he's going to try to score more this year. He told me he wants to show people he can put the ball in the basket, but those other things have to be there as well, and they'll be there first. And if he can add the scoring, a little bit more scoring to it, then he'll be an even better player. They love what he brings to the table. He fills in so many cracks for that team, and championship teams need guys that can fill in a lot of cracks.
He's an alpha, and that kind of guy, because you can tell that he's the kind of guy that, and listen, when you're in the locker room, man, there's a lot of testosterone flowing through there. And he's the kind of guy that they all want to follow, because I guarantee you, now, if I had to pick guys that I would fight, I don't think I'd be very good at it in the first place. So I don't think I'd want to fight any of those guys.
Same here.
Probably, obviously, the Brock Lesnar out of that group I wouldn't want to take on would be, Armando Bacot, just because of sheer physicality, brute strength, and all that. But I think if you take a guy that I look at and you go, this guy's just mentality, he's just a bad guy. And I don't mean bad guy like a bad person. I mean just like somebody you don't want to cross or mess with, be Leaky Black. Because I guarantee you, Leaky Black would, if he got in a back alley brawl, I don't think anything would be past him. I think he's one of those fight to the death kind of guys. So, he brings that and guys follow. But I'm going to tell you, he without all the circus stuff, he's like a Draymond Green. And if you look at what Draymond gives to the Warriors, it doesn't have to be the scoring either. He has such a high, he rebounds. He's the best defender. Well, Klay Thompson's really good too, but he's a great defender. He rebounds, passes, but all the hustle plays and all just the 50-50 balls and things like that. And, if people think that Golden State can just, I hear it all the time, and they got to get rid of him. He can't score. Well, you better be careful, man. You get somebody like that off your roster, and you're going to be, like you say, you're going to be amazed what all somebody like that brings. And I think that's Leaky. He just brings a lot to the table. He just does a little bit of everything. He's that Swiss Army knife. He's a leader. He can. He's just a guy. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. You definitely don't want to be the guy playing against him. So, everything. I just look at, if you're coaching, that's a guy you want on your team. If you're playing, that's a teammate that you want.
He's a soft-spoken guy, and when I say that, he's got a deep voice. So I'm not talking about that tone. I'm just saying he's a soft-spoken guy. He's very thoughtful when he speaks. He's a mama's boy, and he's okay with that. His mother is prolific at putting pictures of him out on social media, and he kind of chuckles and smiles about it and moves on, and he's okay with it. But I think what he is. Since you're talking about fights here, I didn't know we were going in that direction, but I'll stay on it here for a minute. Let's say someone picks a fight with Caleb because they don't like the fact that Caleb taunts and jaws a lot on the road. If someone gets in Caleb's face, the first dude that's going to be there is Leaky. No one's going to get in Leaky's face. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But Leaky's going to come in, and then they're going to wish they didn't do that. So I agree with you on that. 4.9 points a game last year, but he shot a lot better from the perimeter. He was at 46.6% for the floor, 33.3% for three-point range. He had a stretch there where he was hitting a lot of threes in January and February. Then he hit one or two against Syracuse on February 28th. Didn't hit one again until until the Duke game, I think it was. It was the Duke game. Carolina's first basket, I think, was a three by Leaky, and he hit one in the second half at a key period when Duke was on a run. So I asked him about that this past summer when we got a chance to talk to the players, and he was very proud of that because he knows what these kids, coaches 20 years ago could tell kids don't read the papers. They can make sure there are no papers in the locker room or in the players' lounge and that kind of thing. Now you can't keep them from what's being said. So he knows, and he's very proud of that. And I think that his whole off season was being a guy that has a lot more moments like that. He can still be everything else. But if he could pop a few more threes, convert a few more runners, a couple more catch and shoots, imagine if they could ever run a curl to a guy who's 6'9" with his length and his body, if he could start hitting some curls and stuff like that, then he's a guy that's going to make some money playing somewhere. And there's no doubt about it. He still may do it anyway, but that is his mission this year, and obviously winning a championship. And it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago, and I don't mean to be repetitive here. Championship teams need guys like Leaky Black. You had a Matt Doherty in 82. You had Jackie Manuel in 05, and I think Leaky's better than Jackie was. Danny Green was more of a shooter, but he did a lot of those intangible things in 09. You had Theo Pinson doing a lot of that kind of stuff in 17. Leaky's that guy now, and he's become a very, very good basketball player. And if he can hit some shots, David, he's going to be a really good basketball player.
Yeah, and, that's the thing, to take it up to that next level, offensively. And if he could, obviously it would help the team, but I'm just one of those, man. He's just fine the way he is. If I'm coaching him and he says, I would be like, don't put too much emphasis on that and let that impact the rest of your game. But he's just, man, he like I said, you coach, he's the kind of guy you want on your team. He'd be one of the guys you pick first.
I will close with this. One of the last things Hubert Davis goes to bed worrying about at night is Leaky Black. He's not concerned about his game. He's not concerned about anything he's going to do. He's totally fine with Leaky being Leaky. I can assure you that. He's David Sisk. I'm Andrew Jones. Make sure you stop by. We're going to continue previewing the Tar Heels leading up to the opener November 7th against UNC Wilmington. We got a lot of stuff coming your way, and it's not just here on the channel. Make sure you go over to TarHeelIllustrated.com. We got a ton of stuff over there, football included, recruiting included as well. We appreciate you stopping by.